He is. So you're
Okay.
back.
Again?
Back, I think.
Well, I'm
Now let's see if I can get the other one up. I've been working on school all the afternoon.
Screen forward so my head will be in there a little bit, so I can be part of the meeting.
We can see you.
I might freeze and go out. I'm not doing too good today.
All of,
got
I
your
think we all have
message.
the same
Okay.
problem
All
right
right.
now.
Thank you.
Now let me go here. Let me see. Yeah, let me pull this up just in case it's going to work. I bet it's not though. If not, we still can get it through. Come on, get up. Okay, there we go. And now let's see if I can. More. Yeah. Oh, Zach, am I host?
Zach was there and then went back, went off, and he.
Sharing is not turned on.
Then he came back.
Okay.
There isn't anything. There's that.
Hi, Zach. Thank you.
Yeah, 1 second.
That's okay.
I just took these papers here, off
Are
of
you
here, and
good?
I'm gonna put them right back.
That's fine. That's not gonna be.
I took.
Thank you very much.
You're good.
We can go there right now. Share screen options.
Okay.
No. Okay. Now wait, what is it doing? Okay, look. Okay, share. There it is. No, it's working. Good.
So what?
Okay.
33? Look. Yeah, 33.
I think we got it. Can you see it?
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you. And we want what?
See, you got that.
Well, I have 33.
Genesis 33.
Does everybody else have that?
Yes.
Yeah, 33.
Oh, you had Pastor Keller up there. You're gonna list the victims too?
Yeah, I have 33.
Yes. Let us open prayer. At least we can get started. Thank you very much, Zach.
We pray.
Again, Heavenly Father, as we now get Jacob's meeting with Esau and run through these topics here, abide with us and help us. And as we continue to read this, open up our hearts as we begin to look not only to this story, but to the lives of these people, how they live, and your reaction and interaction with them. It's still the same in many ways. Guide us and open up our hearts to you. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. Okay. And here we go.
Jacob and Esau make peace. That's what the Bible says.
Yes.
They make peace.
And one of the things that, as we're going through, Rosalie and I are ahead in our devotions on this, and it's amazing how much of it comes back in. Now, let's see. Okay. Anita's in. Good. Is Danny going to make it by any chance?
And Evan, too?
Haven't heard from him.
Okay. They're probably not.
They're not?
Probably not. Okay. Now we get into the story of Jacob. I wish I had your book. I could go through that right now.
Where do you want? This one?
No.
You want me to go get my cousin?
Yeah, go get it. I could use that. Okay, we're going to start with this. I'm going to use another one too. That's going to help a little bit more. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children and Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the two handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. Kind of interesting, even how he divided them up. And bear in mind, this is kind of an interesting one, because Jacob, Leah and Rachel have been struggling. Rachel was the chosen, and he got stuck with Leah as he's looking at it, and Leah understands that, and she's really hurt by it. Well, I can understand both sides when you look at the strange situation. But what he's done, he's put her with the children and her children, and then Rachel is coming off. See, Rachel and her children, and he knows that this is, he's pretty well sure this is going to be a friendly relation, I think. And he put the handmaiden, okay, and he passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. If you look at what goes on in the Mideast, it's still the same. I mean, this hasn't changed at all, this kind of, he's just constantly submitting himself to his brother. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children, and he said, Who are those with thee? And he said, The children which God hath graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaidens came near, and they and their children, they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, What meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. See, notice he's recognizing Esau as his Lord. As you're going through this, what? Yes. Yeah. What did he say?
Well, when they embraced like that,
Yeah.
they said something good about Esau.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. He says, in a moment, Esau became a different man who willingly bowed himself under the will of the Lord and truly showed noble traits of character.
Yeah, because so far he hasn't shown.
So right now he's,
Well,
what you have here, again, is if you look at England, it's the book with the English social class, the oldest son who inherits everything, and the son after that. This is the kind of relationship this actually is. See, and then, like I'm saying, as you go through this, you can see that all the way through. You can see from the ancient time to the modern time that some things have not really changed, and that's one of them. And Esau said, I have kept. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. See, so what it is, he's getting a good situation here. He's enjoying this, and he's finding acceptance by his brother. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. So he's going to make it smooth. I mean, it's a smooth break. And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. And he said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds are young with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. See, he's saying, your men are all there, you got camels and things, and you can move freely. But I've got to go slowly with these animals. And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And he said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir. And Esau said, let me now leave with thee some of these folk that are with me. So he's going to leave some friends with him, and he's going to leave them in Seir. He himself is going to Seir. And Esau said, I'm reading that at the same time. And Jacob, I'm 17. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth and built him an house and made booths for his cattle. Therefore, the name of the place is called Succoth.
Are you reading from the Old King James?
Yes. Now, if you got this, if you're reading this and you're going through it, what you will find is that these places are mentioned throughout. And you can follow them like that. They give you some idea of what he was talking about. And he continues, and Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padanaram and pitched his tent before the city. And he brought a parcel of a field where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money, and he erected there an altar and called it Elialoha Israel. Elialoha Israel. You think Elohim is one of God's names?
Hi, Elohim.
Yeah. And Elohim would be God, but Elioah is one of God's names.
It ends in G.
Yeah. No, it ends up with an O, but for this reason he's putting out here. He's connecting it with Israel.
I have eight.
So he's making that connection here. Now, as we've been through here, you see, we gradually closing off some of these things, and there's a reason why they're moving us toward something else. He's going to conclude the whole story. In chapter 34, Dinah defiled. Now, this is a point that's going, when we're reading it, what can you do with this? I'm trying to think where you could get the information. There's some of this I'll be giving to you. It'll come out of here, watch. Now, this is where the drama begins, if you will. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land.
That was
and when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel and spoke kindly unto the damsel. Now, there's a couple of things here that are really important to begin to see. If you follow these children that they've had, Leah and Rachel, there's a difference in character in the children. And although it's not really apparent now, it's going to begin to come out.
just with Joseph.
Because what you have here, when you realize it says, and Dinah, the daughter, the first one of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. Now, this is not something that she should do.
It's a no. It's a big no.
I mean, if you think about this, she's going out. It doesn't say anything about consent from her parents or anything. She's going to go out and see them. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. There's something else that's not said here. There doesn't seem to be any kind of resistance on her part.
Mm-hmm.
And the story's going to bring it out. You begin to see, now, some will go and think, well, and some of the arguments they'll use on this is going to be, well, that's the ancient world, and that's how women were treated. No, definitely not. Because you're going to see what's going to come out of this. There was something she did. And what it was, she went into an area she should not have gone. She wanted to make friends with a group of people. In America, you say, okay, yeah, that's great. But even now, here in America, that's beginning to change. Who you watch, who you fool with, and things like that. So there is a sense here when you read it, at least if you've been following what has been going on throughout Genesis now, that this is not exactly what we might presuppose.
excuse me, did he feel that since he was a prince that he could take her?
That would have been part of it.
Yeah.
But like most of the commentaries say that, you know, she apparently didn't resist,
Right.
you know, so that it was mutual. And he's fallen for it. And Shechem spake unto his father, Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife. Now, if you look at this and think about it, you know, we go into the world that says, oh, in our world, it's amazing when you find out how these young girls in high school and all get involved in sex and how many different guys they have sex with. And there's no big problem, they think. And this is the same but in this world, and when you look at something, you know, God gives children, or God withholds children. You know, he's the one that determines whether you get children or not. It's not a question of evil, you know, you're not evil if you can't, we'd have to deal with that ourselves with this looking at it. But that's not it. He's the one that gives children. Knowing that if you're going to abort them, you're going to kill them when they're born, you've committed a grievous crime. But we don't want to admit that because a woman has a right to do with her body as she wants, except she can murder somebody else, which is her child. In this world, no. And the other thing is that God brings them together. If you followed what with Isaac did in trying to find a woman for Jacob, what he told him, what Rebecca said, what Abraham did for finding a wife for Isaac, you know, you realize there's a lot goes into this that she has already kind of avoided. But also what it's saying is that now that he's had her, he really loves her and he wants to get married. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved. And they were very wroth because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. If you think of what happened years ago, when you start looking, one thing that the kids like to look at Jane Austen. And if you look at Jane Austen, when you get into all of them, just about all of them, and particularly would be Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, it's big.
When Lydia runs off with one of the characters there who's in the military, you know, he runs off with her, and look, they're going, she's ruined the family, the whole family, not just one, and they all know that the whole family is disgraced. But here, there's none there. Right or wrong, I mean, when you're looking at this world, this is where it's at. Because the whole family, and this is why they're going to be taking it very, very seriously. You know, I think really when I'm looking at this, it's still the same. You know, a couple of times I had to deal in the church in Emmaus where a girl had gotten pregnant she was in high school, and they determined to have an abortion because the mother didn't want the disgrace. And the parents didn't, and she didn't want the disgrace. So there is something here worthy to begin thinking about really in our own world. Now, Hamor the father, and Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give him to wife. But these are Jews. Ain't done.
Mm-hmm.
And where we think about this, you know, we don't know quite what to do with it. But that's what he's saying. And there's so many other places I can add. I'm just going to lay off because some of this I can bring up later. And make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein. And Shechem said unto her father, And Shechem said unto her father Jacob and unto her brethren, let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give. See, he's being very, very open with this.
Right.
And it's not his fault, there's something else going. However, there's another side of this coin, and it's going to play out pretty clearly now. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give it according as ye shall say unto me. But give me the damsel to wife. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully. Notice, deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our sisters to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. Now, play this out. I mean, I think one of the things, definitely in our world, we don't realize, this whole sin of sex is a lot more serious, much more serious than people today would ever dream of. And the main reason why is because God the Father is married to Israel. Christ is married to the church. Look at marriage.
It's a marriage.
And a husband is married to his wife. Marriage and in the other thing, remember, in the Garden of Eden, God gave marriage before there was sin. So where we are so clawed over because there's so much sex and all going around that we don't see anything wrong with it, it becomes extremely grievous. In fact, historians once said, I was reading it, we go through books with the students. The first sign of the fall of a nation is when the sex breaks loose. I wish I had that book there.
The morals of drama.
Yeah, I could.
That's okay.
Yeah, that would be a good one too to bring in now.
No, let's get on. No.
So as he's going through this, as we step through this, hold on to this picture. But there's one thing we have to do is recognize this whole thing of sex in this world is a lot easier in this world than anywhere else. I mean, even in Europe, it's not like it is here, from what I've heard. I haven't been there, but from what I'm hearing, even from the kids, they're saying it's a lot different here. But they're not being honest yet. We know they're lying.
The sheep from the 13.
They got to be circumcised at verse 16.
14.
Okay, and they said unto him, we cannot do this thing.
Yeah.
To give our sister. See, that's where he's going to reproach. And this will be a consent unto you. If you will be as we be, that every man of you be circumcised. Now, think about this, and these are what we have to do in reading this material. Circumcision is like not a surgery process with them. It's a sacrament. Now, you know what you feel and what you think, what many people think, when you have, where they want wine and you put grape juice out there and you put crackers out there, you can use crackers, but just when you're serving everybody, what it says, it circles. And it's very clear. What this is, now Jacob's sons are stepping way over the line. Yeah. And it's going to pay off. You'll watch this. And this is what, again, just going back to this, if you read this, the characters of their children come out so clearly through the whole book. By the time you reach Joseph, you'll see it very clearly. It'll play out again. Very much the same thing. Okay. Then we will give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people.
They have no intention to go.
Now, think of this, Jacob now. Jacob has the problem with the blessing. He's got the blessing in the family. And not only does he have this blessing in the family now, part of this whole thing of being a Jew is that you will not marry outside of your faith. Now, once I've said that, if you can see this, one of the things when we had the class in the seminary, they brought all of this out. what it is, within the Jewish world. You married within your faith. If you married outside of your faith, you're in trouble. Because it's going to cause a problem. This is what they call, and Paul talks about this a lot, But you marry within the faith. And all these things that play out here, circumcision, the Passover, all of those are sacraments which God has given them and which God communicates through them. And here, Jacob's sons are lying about that. So they're going to have to pay for that. And one of the things to keep in mind, if you look at the sons of Leah, all of the sons of Leah, most of them, well, I think all of them move, except Judah, move to northern Israel. And northern Israel is totally wiped out. All the Jews are known. So that to this day, there's a lot of them, they don't know who's who. The only two tribes were left when you get into Jesus's world was Judah and Benjamin, Dan. They have some they're talking about. You have the priests and all,
Dan,
because the priests were all over at that time. So Levi, part of Levi,
just Judah and Benjamin.
and the Levites, because they were all over Israel at the time. But I mean, that's something we'll get into when we get another place. But I think it's a good thing to mention here. But if ye will not hearken to us to become circumcised, then will we take our daughters, and we will be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do the things because he had delighted in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. And this is why, when you're looking at this, there is something that keeps coming out here. He's an honorable guy, so the odds that she didn't consent to it, it wouldn't have happened. But we don't know. But for something like this, to build up his honor and who he is, and then what she did, she just goes out and wanders off like she wants to be in her own little world and do her own little thing. She got in trouble for it. But it's going to be a big price. It's going to be a price paid for this, and it's going to be a big one. And
Pages.
yeah, turning pages. Yeah, no fingers.
Is that?
Good, yeah, got it. And Hamor, on verse 20, and Hamor and Shechem his son came unto the gate of their city and communed with the men of their city, saying, These men are peaceable with us, therefore let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters.
They know nothing about the Jews.
Now, what they're doing, I think the one thing that, and this is what they make it, when you're reading this, there's a whole different character in Jacob's group, because you learned right off, and in Shechem's group, Hamor.
Now, Jacob wasn't present for this, right? Jacob wasn't there.
No, he wasn't. He's not. It's the brothers.
Well, wait, they asked Jacob. Though,
and the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it.
Wait,
so they're dealing with it.
They told.
We'll find out. Let's keep on going.
They just talking to the son.
Yeah. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people. If every male among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised, shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent with them, and they will dwell with us.
So they can have all of their stuff too.
And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all they that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword and came upon the city bodily and slew all the males.
It's Hamor.
Yeah, Hamor.
Right over it, yes.
And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out. See, they took Dinah out. So they had agreed, and it was an agreement that was going to happen, and it happened. That's so far as Dinah was going to marry him. But then what happens? This is something else. They took her out. And the sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city because they had defiled their sister. And they took their sheep and their oxen and their asses, that which was in the city and which was in the field, and all their wealth and all their little ones and their wives, took they captive and spoiled even all that was in the house. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, and I and my house. And they said, should he deal? And they said, should he deal with our sister as with a harlot? This is a big event. This has color. You'll read about this later on. From this point on, the people around they don't trust the Jews at all. Any questions on what has happened here? A little bit. It gets a little violent. It's going to get a little worse too, I think.
Ooh, boy. Is that all of Leah's sons?
Oh yeah. Rachel, Joseph is the only one I think she's had at this point, and
He's probably young.
right. If I go to 35, it's going to be Jacob at Bethel, and I think this is important because it shows you God's relationship with Jacob even here. And God said unto Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. See, they already had strange gods, but there's an interest when you get in this whole concept of gods and who it is. You realize it's a lot. We tend to look at the word God as being, okay, that's a word, and they got these gods there, and they got those gods there, and we have our God. But we're separate. We're not, God isn't any kind of a real thing in our life. This is why think of how many things that we do wrong, and the only one we're worried about is the people that we know will find out about it. It's not the idea of going, wait, God knows. And this is a very important concept because what it tells you, that a God, and you'll get this in the New Testament, a God is not only an idol that has some kind of form to it, and a God can be that thing which is most important in our life. And whatever that thing is, if it's more important than God, that's your God.
Idolatry.
And that's idolatry. See? And what happened to the Jews, no matter where they went, they had to deal with these people. They had nice looking people and friendly people, little places they can shop, and they're going to go here and do that. And they can't help but get intermixing with all these people. Invariably, they take up their gods. Now, if you watch, you can see it happen within our world. If well, when I look at things, I've collected a number of things that I've got from Japan, which are related to Buddhism, but I have for studying. I mean, it's not something I worship at all, but I got it in the house. And then there's others. Some things I found. I have no idea where I got them from. I know one little thing is a little statue of St. Jude. I've got that around. I don't pray to it. It's just strange. I got it, but I still have it. And this is the kind of thing when he's saying, these things that you worship, and it's going to be money, it's going to be security, it might be health, it can be any number of things.
Shechem is in Samaria.
Yes.
Yes. So he goes to where now? I was trying to see how far he traveled to go.
Bethel.
Yes, Bethel. I don't know where Bethel.
What I'm saying here, that it's not surprising. One of the things they found, I get biblical archaeology, and they go and they still search sites that they have in Jerusalem and all over Israel. And one of the things they pointed out was that it's amazing how many false gods and these signs and words painted on the walls of the temple that showed the priests had the false gods with them.
Oh, Bethel.
But we don't see that, we don't see that at all.
Okay. This is the one.
And if you look and listen with yourself, I mean, if you begin to look and say, okay, what in my life is more important than God? And
Nothing.
what you may find out, that's a lot of things more important than God. Because one of the keys to that, is how often do we use the word? Now, I'm not trying to say you study the word 24 hours a day, but you have a regular devotional service or a regular devotion? Are you in church regularly? What does it take to keep you out of church? What can divert you from church? Is there something that can come up? Oh, wow, I got to be there. This is where you begin to see it. But it's on a personal level. We have to do that. That's why I pointed out today when we were talking about, if you look at Mardi Gras is a religious celebration. And when you realize what New Orleans has done with it, you'd have to say, God's not going to be happy with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why would he care? Well, if you know what's going on at it, then you know.
Mm-hmm.
So all just getting this started as we go through this, and trying to bring in some of these things to say what has happened here. Even there, he's saying, okay, clean up, get your act clean, guys. Let's get out of here. And Jacob said unto his household and all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you and be clean and change your garments. See, be clean. When the gods are there and you're not clean. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. And
Rachel gave us too.
they journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities that were around about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. But you can understand why. What it's saying is what they did to Shechem has now spread through the land.
Yeah.
And since now you don't have the big city states there, you've just got groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to remember this, and this is going to build up when you get into David's world, where there's going to be nations that great city states that hate the Jews, and it'll be going back to this thing.
6.
Right. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, and he and all the people that were with him. And he built there an altar and called the place El Bethel. El is God, because there God appeared unto him when he fled from the face of his brother.
Mm-hmm.
But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Bethel under an oak, and the name of it was called Elon Bachoth. Now, this is a little hint. If you wonder what had happened, now Rebekah's been going with them the whole time. But because Isaac was the head, and he turned everything over to Jacob, Jacob is now the head of the tribe. And so his mother's going to be with him. And God appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Padanaram, and blessed him. And God said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. Now you see where Israel gets its name.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, if you think about just what happened with his sons, what that means. God is still finding Jacob favorable. He's not blamed for what his sons did. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. See, he keeps passing it on from one generation to the next. Abraham got it, Isaac got it, now Jacob has it. But Jacob's called Israel, and Jacob has 12 sons. So now you know where the tribes of Israel come from and where the whole name comes from of Israel.
Mhm.
And it's coming out of Bethel. That's what he did there. And God went up from him in the place
14.
where he talked with him.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spake with him, Bethel. Welcome to Bethel. Here's another one we'll be reading about. Oh my, this is terrible.
Want something to drink.
Well, my sinus is going crazy. And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephrath. And Rachel travailed, and she had a hard labor there.
Yeah, this is Benjamin.
So now she's had Joseph. She's going to have a tough time. And it came to pass when she was in hard labor that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. It's terrible. And Rachel died and was buried in the way of Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. Bethlehem.
She's buried in Bethlehem, huh?
Right. The other thing to know is that there's a tomb there in Bethlehem that they believe is Rachel's. It's always been called Rachel. Rachel's tomb.
20.
Now we're on 20, and Jacob set up a pillar upon her grave. That is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day.
Yeah.
And Israel joined and spread his tent beyond the tower of Edar. And it came to pass when Israel dwelt in that land that Reuben went out and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine. And Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. But realize Bilhah is
His father's concubine.
which one was that? Rachel's concubine? No, it must have been Leah's concubine. Leah's maid that had children.
Reuben's the oldest.
Yeah, he's the oldest. And his character is going to come out. Watch it. I mean, as you follow this, his character comes out, and it's a weak one. He's got the right ideas, but he always does the wrong thing.
23.
Yeah.
The
The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Ishkar, and Zebulun. And the sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan, and Naphtali. See, that's the same one.
Mm-hmm.
And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad, and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Paddan Aram. And Jacob came unto Isaac his father, unto Mamre, unto the city of Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And the days of Isaac were 180 years, and Isaac gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days, and his son Esau and Jacob buried him. So we're moving through. Look, if you notice the change, what has happened? We looked at Jacob when he had sons. They were grown. They have families of their own. They've done all kinds of crazy things, And well, I think one thing to try to understand: they're living in a violent world. They're going to act violent. I mean, there's so many hints right now when you look at America to realize America's violent, and it wasn't like that when we were coming up. And there's hints out there which will show you why and what is going on there. But we've become accustomed to it. Now, Jacob and with his sons, that's where they were. So you really don't, when you look at the two worlds, you can see a very real similarity. But we're kind of protected in our own world because we're coming from a world that was a lot more peaceful than the world we're living in now.
We are. Yeah.
So, and then Isaac's dead. So now Rachel's dead. Isaac's dead. Rebecca's still around. She's going to be going pretty soon. Then you watch one by one as they all die, and the book just continues. You're watching the growth of Israel. You've got now with Jacob, the land is going to be called Israel. His sons are going to be the tribes. And we'll see what happens. Now, Joseph is going to be a little different. But with the events that happen with Joseph are going to make that difference. Now we get a little insight. They're going to, what is happening here, I think I can finish this. You're on Esau. Now what is happening here? This is the last we spend any time on Esau. Excuse me.
Let me to get you something.
Oh, wow. I don't know. Yeah, this is sinus. So, having been to New Orleans several times and then Chalmette, my sinuses go absolutely crazy from those two places.
Me too.
But we're gonna. This is again with Genesis. This is the last time when you have this kind of a thing. Remember, we had that in Cain very early.
Mhm.
Now you got it with Esau because Esau is finished. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. See, now whenever you hit Edom,
That's his family.
right?
Okay.
Esau took his wife. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan. Ada, the daughter of Elon, and the Hittite, and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zebulun, and the Zebeon, the Hivite. Now, notice what has happened
All these are
with Dinah,
heathen ones.
and look what Esau has done.
Hmm.
So, Esau is not anywhere near. I mean, he's an outcast in his own way, and he's going out in his own way. We can read about Edom, but it's not going to be a good sign for Israel. But it just shows you, okay, they're finished. We're going to finish up. And Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. See, he also married Ishmael's daughter.
Yeah, that's
And Ida bare to Esau Eliphaz,
heathen probably.
and Bashemath bare Reuel,
Well,
and Aholibamah bare Jeush, and Jaalam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. And all of these can become, not all of these, but some of these,
Okay.
like Edom, are going to become enemies of Israel. And Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters, and all the persons of his house and his cattle, and all his beasts and all his substance, which he got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob.
went away
And
from him.
right, moved away. For their riches were more than they might dwell together, and the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. And the cattle, when you read it like this, cattle, it includes all of these domesticated animals: goats, camels, cattle, sheep, whole thing. So he's going to be moving on. But Esau, if you follow the character of Esau is probably a fairly nice guy, but he's blown it with what he's done with his marriages.
Mhm.
And I know quite a few people have done that. For their riches were more than they had. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Seir.
And they don't exist anymore.
No. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Ada, the wife of Esau; Reuel, the son of Bashemath,
Yeah.
the wife of Esau; and the sons of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. The and Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Ada, Esau's wife. Amalek's going to come back in. Watch the names. And again on 14. And these were the sons of Aholibamah, the daughters of Anna, the daughter of Zebeon, Esau's wife, and she bare to Esau Jeush, Jaalam, and Korah. These were dukes of the sons of Esau. The sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau, Duke Taman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, and Duke Kenaz. What? What you looking at?
I don't know, I'm proud to be.
Zepho. Zepho. Or
There's
Zepho.
a straight line.
Zepho.
I think you pronounce the word letter like it is. So, see?
Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Ada. And these are the sons of Reuel, Esau's son, Duke Nahath, and Zerah, and Shema. Maybe I get that one.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we got that.
You got it.
You got it that time. Thank you.
I'll be reading from my Bible. It would help.
Yeah. Duke Mezah. These are the dukes that came to rule in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Bashemoth, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of I can go down these. He's going to just talk about all these. I'm just going to skip
I
those
think we
names
skip that.
and what they have. And I can go down to, well, just keep
You
going.
can just get. I'll remember. I mean, we're not going to remember that.
Let's see.
We
Wait,
go
let me just see
31.
something. Edom.
What about 31?
31 is where, that's what I was looking at. That's where I was going to go,
31.
all the way down to 31. In 31, and these are the kings that reign in the land of Edom, before there reigned any king over the children of Israel.
Wow,
So
these
Edom's going to
kings
go up
were-
fast, right?
Wow.
And Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhaba. And Bela died, and Jobab, his son of Zerah, and Bozrah reigned in his stead. And Jobab died, and Husham of the land of Temani reigned in his stead. And Husham died, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, who smote Midian in the fields of Moab, now you're moving into the nations, reigned in his stead, and the name of the city was Ava. And he's going to go just running through here, all of these,
Right.
to the very end. I mean, you run through each one, to go through each one of them, if you kind of underline and follow them, they're going to come back up. But you notice you've moved from the tribes of the people to city-states,
Kings with the kings.
you know,
huh?
because you got the kings.
Yeah.
So the land is growing,
Esau,
and it's in Jacob's time. Right, between
Okay.
Jacob and Esau. That's what they've done. Any questions on that? That can be pretty dry as you try to put it together. I think the one thing you find very consistent is the what that would be, I'm going to say the moral and the ethical world of the ancient world, and the moral and ethical world of Jesus's world, and what we should be doing today. You'll find it very much the same. Really hasn't changed a whole lot. We've changed it, but usually what that means, it's the fall, not the rise, when that happens.
Now we're going to get to Joseph.
I don't have the book I wanted to read real quickly, but that's okay. I can do that next time. One of the things that points out, I use it for the students all the time. Livy, the Roman poet, the Roman historian, wrote about Rome. And what he says about it, it sounds like he's writing about America.
You know, I think we actually.
I think I read that
book
one
to them
yeah.
a long time ago.
A long
but
time.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? Probably not.
Any
Was it
thoughts?
totally confusing? Any thoughts on this? Yep.
So jumping ahead, we're reading about these kings here after, Joseph goes up into Egypt,
Yeah.
Exodus out of Egypt, and Joshua's in place. And that's when they started saying everybody has kings, us kings. So they're talking about these kings that happened and came about at the time of Esau, I guess, because
Jacob,
Israel had
Jacob.
kings up until then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
before
Jacob, Israel won't have a king in the true sense until David.
Right.
Saul.
So
Really.
yeah, it's all in the baby.
So they're not going to have a king until then.
So
That's
after
gonna
the
be
period of the judges, that's when they said,
Right. It's going to
That's
go
when they
through. We got to
told
go
God,
through
"Give us
judges and
king."
everything else.
Mhm.
Right.
okay.
And these people here are going to grow and expand, and children of Israel are going to go to Egypt. They really don't have any land.
Mhm.
And at this point, they're going to leave this area and go into Egypt. They stay there for 400 years and then come back. When they come back, all their relatives now don't even remember them anymore, and there's going to be some real fighting going on.
But that's where they got rid of Joseph. That's what happened there. Huh?
So when God was making the promises, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he said about nations would come from you, and he said, I will give this land to you. He wasn't talking specifically where they lived. They were talking about more where the nation would be, I guess.
Right, and that's where the nation's going to be.
And give him all that, man.
See, that's where the nation is
Come
actually
back.
going to be. Right. What I will do next time, I needed to do that.
Kind of a map.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
I have that. There's a map here, and I think. Oh, yeah. Where is it? There. I'm looking for my cursor. That's all. I get this little bugger back up there. Okay, where's my map set? Yeah, here's one. See, this is where we're talking about.
Genesis. Yeah.
Here's the Genesis.
After the
Then that's up to Genesis 10. So this, what we're looking at in this, they're going to be further down here. So where is it? That's the first part of Genesis. I don't have it. I thought I did. I'll get that.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
thought I did. Maybe I have it further down. I bet I don't. No, I don't. I'll get that next time. That's a good thing. That's a good point.
You might write something out. There's something in there for that.
And oh wait, no, that's not it. Well, wait. Yeah, you can see some of it. Yeah. Just a little bit. This may help a little bit.
It's so tiny.
Yeah, no, I need a pointer. Okay, more. I don't know if I have a pointer. Okay, right in. Let's see.
You need a map like this. Let me show you.
It used to be I could draw a circle around it. I don't want it.
Sorry.
I'll
You
get
need,
that
you
working.
need a map like
Yeah,
this.
I do.
Right here. Because I've got
Yeah.
them, check them.
Yeah, I'm gonna put. I can do it. I can get that. I'll have a map up next time to show you all of these places we're talking about, and it makes it a little clear because this is where you are right now, and I can't. See, they used more, and the more disabled. That's not what I need. I needed a little pointer right now, and I don't have it. Hey.
This is the promised land here, the conquest and the allotment.
You see this red line here? Can you see the red line going on the map to the left?
Yeah.
Now, if you look there, you see the Red Sea. Can you see the Red Sea down here?
Yeah.
Okay, now if you look, the Peninsula Sinai,
Mm-hmm.
that's where they're going to be. See, they're coming from here, or coming like this across
Egypt.
to it, and they're going to be right there.
It says all the names of the promised land, but where there's allotted.
Yeah.
So they mentioned Hebron sometime today. I know Hebron's still in Israel today, so
Right,
I don't know where Hebron would be on.
It's not going to be on these maps. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I definitely will take that map and have it up for next week. I should have had it up before. I didn't have time this week.
Nope. which means maps.
Yeah, if you have a map in the Bible, some of the Bibles have maps in them.
Yeah.
And if you look at the back of them, you'll see Hebron and all of those places, Bethel and all on there.
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah, I was looking for it. I can't find some of
I'll give you an idea, and I'll have them all out on the next one. Okay, anything else?
them.
Okay, let us close with prayer. Again, Heavenly Father, as we go through this material, yeah, it's strange sometimes and strange reading, but as we begin to think about it and look at the personalities of these people, the behavior that they have, their lives, it's not much different than what we have now, really. Violence, yeah, we have it. Sin, yeah, we have that too. And sex sin, yeah, it's all over the place. As we begin to look at this, and it'll help us to just kind of digest that, it does give us a knowledge and a comparison of what they were like, what we are like, and really how we're moving away from that, and the effects that has on the world in general when that happens. In your son's name, bless us this week as we go through our daily chores. Help us to fulfill those jobs you'd have us and to meet whoever we meet. Let us be lights and salt as we meet them, help them, guide them, and live in your peace. And come together again on Sunday to worship and for Bible class to get into more of Jacob's life as we move on to Joseph. In your son's name, Father, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Okay, go on. See you next week.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.